It is here. It's finally here. It's the Altenew stamp wheel. Welcome to Amy Hill Creates, and please join me on this journey where I learn all about the stamp wheel. In this segment, I will be unboxing and making a card. So first up is unboxing. So my stamp wheel came with some enamel dots and a little message to say that I should be using them. So I'm going to open up the packaging, and there are two little pieces of tape on the side that I had to cut. And I just cut one, so I opened it like a book. And here is the instruction guide. And there's a QR code on there for some videos and an explanation of how to use the stamp wheel and a couple of tips. And then there is the mat. So this is a photopolymer mat, so it's like a stamp. And so it's sticky, and that's one of the great things about the stamp wheel. This is also replaceable. You can see it has its own skew. And here is the stamp wheel itself, which is a platform that is 7.5 by 7.5 inches on the inside, 9 by 9 on the outside. And this is the positioner. And you can see I'm trying to show you that there is a plus and an X in the middle. And you can see it's filmy on one side, so we have to take that off. And then this is the stamp wheel itself. So it's a platform. And on the back side is felt with 4 non-skid circles to make sure that it stays attached to the desk. So the next step, we're going to put all of this together. I'm going to start by taking the film off of the stamp mat. And this is just a big stamp. So one side is very smooth, and the side with the dark grid lines is bumpy. And you can see I'm having a lot of trouble pulling that off, but eventually win. And I'm just showing you that one side has little bumps in it. This is the bumpy side. And the other side is perfectly smooth. And the perfectly smooth side is going to be up. So I'm just going to clean off my stamp wheel and make sure I have good adherence. And I'm just going to go ahead and drop this up, making sure that the bumpy side is down. So now that we have our mat in place, here is the plastic wheel, and it does take a little bit of effort to get that film started, but once it starts, it is all set. Now the wheel has a side that has etched lines and a side that doesn't. Here I'm showing you that plus, and then as you turn the wheel, it's going to move to an X, and that's one way to help you to figure out what direction and where you are going. So the enamel dots were added in order to help you to figure out where home base is. So with the etch side up, place your dots in. So I'm putting one on home base. You can see that's all the way down, and then I'm going to put one in all 4 corners. And now we are ready to begin working. And I'm putting those so the dots are on the etch side so I don't get any ink stains on my stamp wheel. So let's go ahead and make a card. I thought doing repeat stamping would be an easy way to get started. I'm going to put down a piece of A2 size cardstock, and I'm putting that directly onto the smooth side of the sticky mat, and you can see it doesn't move. And I'm going to be using about 6 different sentiments from the Bold Sentiment stamp set, and I'm choosing ones that have a similar theme and also have different lengths. Since there are no grid lines, I'm using a grid transparency piece to help me line up these sentiments. I am going to place the wheel right in those corners, and those little enamel dots really do help, and everything picks up. And you can see that as I'm inking this up, my wheel part is not in the corner, so everything's kind of knocking around a little bit. And here we go, first time, and it fits beautifully like a glove, and actually really great coverage. I don't feel I need to restamp. So I'm going to repeat this, and here's home base. So I know I'm going to go ahead and put this in after I line my stamps up. I'm going to pick those stamps up, lift up the whole thing, And this time I'm locking it into place, so when I ink up, that plastic wheel part is not moving. And I'm going to go ahead and flip this over and put it right down. And it's starting to now feel really easy. And I'm getting the hang of it. And nothing moves. And it's really great because that paper, I have no magnets, I have no tape. And I notice I need to repeat stamp this section. And I'm just going to ink this up again. And ink up all of those pieces just to make sure that I have good coverage. And then I'm going to flip this over, and guess what? It fits perfectly down because my paper didn't move. And that's what I'm really liking about this entire platform, is the fact that that grid, I don't need magnets and I don't need tape, and that paper stays put. So I'm going to continue this process of lining these stamps up using the grid transparency. And I'm going into an array of colors. So you can see I'm starting with blue, then I move to teal, green, this is a yellow. And I'm just going to continue to put these down. I am making sure that my sentiments are not always perfectly seen. And I'm changing up the sizes from small to big to medium, and trying to not repeat as many of the words that you can notice. So it's a very much of a random pattern. And here's the orange, and I'm actually double stamping this because I didn't want to switch to a darker color. And so by doing the double stamping, I get a darker color. So this is the last in the sequence of colors, and this is a pink red. And I ended up putting some paper tape on the transparency just because I wish that my transparency stayed put and was a little bit larger than my card size. So I'm going to add the blue to the top, and I got to say I'm loving the way this looks. That paper didn't move. This was really, really easy, and by the end of this I really got a chance to experience the stamp wheel to see how it works. So here's my finished card. Everything's lined up really, really well, and I'm going to clean off the surface, and I just use a little bit of Altenew stamp cleaner, and everything comes up great. It's still very tacky, and if it does lose that stick, since it's a stamp, I can just clean this off in soap and water and it will stick. So here's my sentiment, which I'm stamping in pure graphite ink, and this stamps right smack where I wanted to, and I don't even feel the need to double stamp this. So I'm going to use a pair of long shears to cut this out, and then I'm going to use some Altenew Instant Dimension foam tape to pop this up, and then I'm putting it right on my card just for a little bit of contrast from that rainbow, so that way that sentiment sticks up. And so here is our finished card. I feel like the stamp wheel is really great. I like the fact that I don't have to worry about the paper moving. I feel that it was really easy. The first couple of times I wasn't sure, but I feel like it's really easy to get the hang of lifting that wheel up and turning it around. And the dots really did help make sure I knew where everything was. So thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. And please subscribe to get installment 2 on the stamp wheel. Thank you so much.